good evening. Welcome into another edition of Rebound Off the Net Live. I'm your host, Joshua Cox. Tonight we're going to talk about rules and officiating and answer all your questions. We're joined by the Director of Officials for the AF1, Jason Capogna. Jason, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we haven't had you on before. Just tell us a little bit about your background and how you ultimately got involved with the AF1 and become the Director of Officials for the AF1.
So my background is I've been officiating football for a little over 20 years. Started in high school, just like everybody. Went to college, officiated college for about the last close to 15 years, and got involved with arena probably about 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And I've been officiating arena ever since. And it just happened to be that I was in the right place at the right time and took over the Director of Officials last year and been working to try to get this game to be have the most potential that it can.
Absolutely, yeah. First off, we're going to go into some fan questions here that's got sent in, and I'll let you just answer them. I'll ask them how they are. So just first off, this basic differences between the outdoor and arena game for a new fan to this league.
Wow, for a new fan for AF1, coming from the outdoor game and coming to AF1, it is a completely different game. If you like football, you will love arena football. The AF1 is fast-paced. It is high scoring, high action, hard hitting. It has every element of football with the show behind it. So when you go to an arena football game, you're not bored. You're going to enjoy the game. You're not going to have time to look at your cell phone between plays because we snap the ball so fast and so quick. We keep you on your toes. And at any given time, there can be a touchdown. We're the only league that uses rebound nets, and the rebound net completely changes the game of football. So from the regular kickoff, our kickoffs are one of the most exciting parts of our game. So we start right off with the kickoff. We've put new rules in place this year that are just you're not going to be able to grab a seat. That's the difference. Arena football, AF1 is for an official who's been part of this sport and who's enjoyed it as a kid. So I was part of the original in the 90s, and it brings it back, and the excitement of the crowd and the way the fans get into it. And the biggest difference besides the speed, so for the fan experience, is the proximity to the field and how close you are, and that you have balls coming into the field of play, into the stands, and the players are falling over the wall, as you can see in some of the highlight reels. And the fact that our out of bounds is where the fans are. You know, we run into a wall, you may not be down. There is, and you can score when you think a team. And here's one of the things that keeps the fans there and captivated is that when you can be down by 21 points with 30 seconds left, and you're not out of the game. There is still potential because of the rules that we have in place to make it to where a team is always in it to the end. There is never a point that you're going to have a team just be able to take a knee. We do have certain rules for safety and stuff like that where a team can take a knee but 21 points down, it's not unheard of to come back. I've seen points scored, 11, 12 points scored in 8-10 seconds. Yeah. So I think that's the difference between the outdoor game and the indoor game. It's still football. We still use the same football. We still have some of the same rules that we have. We tweak the rules a little bit because of the arena size, but it's if you've never been, get to one or watch it on streaming because it's exhilarating.
Yeah, we saw a lot of wild finishes last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, we did. We did, huh? Yes, we did.
Yeah, you talking about the kind of the game experience there. That kind of draws into one question a fan had where, they're so up close and personal to the field. Traditionally, I know originally, if like balls went into the stands, fans were allowed to keep them. Will that be the case this year?
So that's going to be individual arenas dependent on it. I know in prior years that's been the way. Balls are expensive, just like everything else. So some of the leagues, some of the teams, what they do is they have a souvenir. You get a football. The officials very rarely will ask for it back. We're too busy to worry about what's going on. But they've put a good football product out there that's not cheap. In prior years, footballs were so inexpensive because the quality wasn't there. With the caliber of players we have now in AF1, AF1 players are the top of arena football, right? The quality of the players that we have, so they need a good ball. We can't use so it's going to be, so most stadiums are going to have a swap system with it, maybe tickets, maybe something, a giveaway or something, I believe. That's pretty much how the ball thing will work this year.
Yeah, sounds good. Next question I had here is why the officials get together after a flag and talk about it. I'm just going to read it as it's said here. It says that shouldn't happen. Make the call, live with it. If they have to talk about it, go to the head official only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so here's football 101. All right. We have we have a lot of people to watch over. And you may think there's a lot of officials to watch over just a small group of people, but these players run, sub 4.5 40s. They are big. They hit. People are moving. Angles are different. So when you do make a call and it's a big call, we have a short discussion to make sure we're getting it right, to make sure that you saw completely what I saw and there's not a discrepancy. So when an official throws a flag, he has a number. And if somebody else has input that, hey, I had this angle, I didn't quite see it like that, then that's where that group discussion may come in. And they're usually short, and they're usually they're not long discussions, and they're more over intentional grounding, something that's going to change the momentum of the game. That's going to be it. If we have a false start, we're going to come in and, hey, did you have the defense or offense? We're going to discuss that, and we're going to go back, because ultimately the reason we have replay is because what do we want? Fans want us to get it right. Right. And we are making judgment call decisions on the fly. So we need sometimes just to get together to talk about it and then break off from there. We try to limit it. We don't like it, but that's the reason why.
Okay. Yeah. Next question. Will the deuce return this year?
The deuce is back. Yes, it is. That is probably one of and I've got some exciting news. So the deuce is back, and this is where we tweaked the game. And we've kind of held this because we didn't want this to come out too early. We have introduced the 1. Okay. So AF1 now is going to have a point system. And due to the fact we are of the rebound nets, we have a unique way to score a 1. And what a 1 is when the return, so you on a kickoff, the returner doesn't come out of the end zone, is tackled in the end zone. The kicking team is awarded 1 point. What we've done to tweak the league and to make it incentivized for the teams to kick it off the net is that you can only score a 1 when the ball hits the rebound net. So if you don't hit the rebound net and the runner gets tackled in the end zone, it's just a touchback and the ball goes to the 5-yard line. Well, you want that excitement of the ball coming off the net, the player turning his back to it, have no idea who's coming, where he's going, and then turning around and just making that play that's wow, right? Either by the kicking team or the receiving team. So that's the excitement of arenas we've brought in, and it's called the 1 now. So the kicking team can score a 1 or a deuce on a free kick, on a kickoff.
Yeah, that makes things a lot more exciting. I'm glad to have that. It'll be a fun one. So.
And it's easier for the fans to follow once we go through this. It's easier for the fans to understand the kicking game. The prior years, it had been if this happens, this happens, this happens, and fans kind of sat back and just waited for us to assess. And once we go over the kicking rules, and it's a lot simpler because we want the fans to understand, like, oh yeah, the ball is going to go to here now. So,
yeah. Someone asked in the comments here, the rogue.
So it used to be, I'm not going to go. We are the one now. That's it.
Okay. Sounds
we
good.
are the one.
Yeah.
The one scores 1 point on a kickoff. And the technique of the rule is a deuce or a one can only be scored by the kicking team if they don't have a foul in the bank. And what that means is if on a touchdown, a player does something after the play that would not negate the touchdown, we're going to put that on the kickoff. If they do something, and I hate to say it but they do something dumb after a play or during the try that wouldn't take the points off the board, we can put it on the kick. And then if they put it on the kick, they've been punished. So that's a big punishment, and they can't score a deuce or a one. And that's where players are like, oh, bonehead move. Could potentially cost your team 2 points.
We unfortunately see too many of those. So.
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, sometimes we do.
Yeah. Okay. Will there be just a regular 1 and 2 points after a touchdown score this year?
Yes. So there is the typical one, just like the outdoor game, except we have you can go for 1, you can go for 2, or you can drop kick.
Will the 2 be from the 2-yard line?
Yes, it will be from the 2-yard line.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good. How do you maintain consistency across games with officials?
So we've done, I think, so this year, and not prior years, but this year, we've had the help of Bill Carolla, Byron Boston, just some big guys that are in college football that have helped us put together officiating staffs throughout the country. So our officials are all this year are just some outdoor game college. We have Big 10, we have Big 12, we have officials from all over, from the SEC, ACC, from the Power 5. We have officials all over the country this year. We started training early, and we've used technology to help us with our training. So where prior years we didn't put the amount of effort into the officials, this year the officials are taking a mandatory test. They have film study they have to go over, and we have weekly Zoom calls for getting everybody up to where we need to be. So all officials have been trained to know the rules and to make sure that we all throw the same fouls and there's no inconsistency there.
Yeah, kind of a follow-up question I got on that is how are officials trained for the unique speed of the arena game compared to the outdoor game?
They are exposed to it. A lot of officials go to training camp, so they'll do a scrimmage in play. Exposure is game time, some of it, and some of it is just our officials are all seasoned. So they've seen these plays over and over and over again, and their study and everything they do to try to get them there makes them prepared. And speed comes with preparation. So if you're prepared, then the speed will just be there. You'll be okay with it if you're prepared and you know the rules and what you're supposed to call.
Yeah, much different speed of game. So it's just
yes, and sometimes you're running for your life as an official. You're either diving over the wall, on top of the wall, running away. There's sometimes that we have no choice but to get out of the way.
Yeah, I would not want to be an official in this game. Sure. Next question I had was what technological aids or reviews will there be to assist officials and challenges by coaches? Will that be a thing this year?
Okay, well, repeat that question again.
Yeah, technological aids that will assist officials in review, and then like challenges by the coaches this year. What will that look like?
It's going to be, so I know there's some stuff in the works as far as video that I don't know the full details on. As far as we know, review is going to be the same. I know there's talk of more cameras. More cameras make angles better. That will give us the ability to review better. But I don't know enough about what exactly that's going to be. The they'll announce it when they're ready, of how we're going to be either streaming games or viewing that. And that ultimately will be what we use. So we try to use whatever you're seeing on the streaming. Sometimes we don't have those angles, but that's pretty much what replay is going to be about.
Sounds good. How do you evaluate individual official performance?
We grade. Our officials are graded every game. So every game, our officials are graded by their. It starts with their presentation, how they look on the field, how they present themselves, their calls, their non-calls. The entire game is graded every game. Every official receives a grade at the end of every game, and the coaches are also involved. So the coaches help with the grading system, and we use that for accountability. We're putting a good product out there. Fans are paying to go see a great game, and we don't need a subpar official messing things up. And so by us holding ourselves accountable and learning from what goes on, our officials will get better. And then they're also, with the grading system, is we reward with playoff games. We want to put the best officials on playoff games, and every game's important to every fan. But when we get towards the playoff season, just like the NFL does, just like college, every other affiliation of football does the same thing. There's a grading system, and at the end of the year, the best officials are put in, the Arena Crown or the first round playoff game, or if we have a, week 12 and we need, it's coming to the line that may come into play.
Kind of off that, the question kind of played into that. The next one is, what feedback has coaches and players gave you all about officiating since last year?
So the feedback we got from the head coaches last year and the ownership group is after about week 4, things turned around. There was a more consistency amongst the crews, and I'll give the props to the officials that were working with me. They really did a good job of taking the information, processing it, and doing what was the best interest of the league, and learned. And they learned a lot, and they learned quickly. The players understand how hard it is for us. They don't agree with it, some of the calls, because, of course, players don't do anything wrong, and we more or less take feedback from the coaches. The coaches will send me feedback as far as what an official has done, and then we use that to gauge, what we need to improve. Officiating is not just week 1. We write a rule book and we start week 1. We adapt throughout the year. All leagues do, right? We adapt, if there's a lot of holding calls or a lot of this or a lot of this. And what happens is the players learn to adapt to the officials. We as officials don't adapt to the players. Mm-hmm. The players learn to adapt to us. And that's the consistency aspect and where we continue to move. When targeting came out in college, everybody thought it was the end of college football, that football was over, and you weren't, and you've seen it change. Right, that players have learned how to play differently.
Yeah, sounds good. Next fan question I had is, in the Arena Crown last year, a player jumped over the ball after a touchdown in the pass. That was a penalty. Is that a penalty now?
No. We want to bring in. Listen, I want, and I'm sure every fan wants, as a fan, right? My team scores a touchdown or my team has a defensive pick. I want duck, duck, goose in the middle of the field. I want the place to go. Now, if I'm a visitor and you're doing it, I'm going to be a little bit, right? Get off my field. We want positive celebration. They work their butt off. We encourage positive celebration with amongst their teammates, choreographed or not. Mm-hmm. We don't allow disrespect to another player, coach, opposing fan. We don't allow that. But we allow them to use their creativity to get the fans involved as far as their excitement goes. And we hope the arenas, engage that also, and kind of feed into it, because your home player scoring a touchdown is, fans go nuts over it. And you're going to boo when that guy, that player scores a touchdown and he's doing something, choreographed in the end zone. And we think it brings that excitement level to the fan base, to just make it exciting. I think we should, as a league, and I think if we can find maybe a sponsorship, I think we should every week give the player with the best touchdown dance rated by fans something. Maybe there's a sponsor out there that's looking to just, get somebody out there that's, hey, this player, they scored a touchdown and they did this unique thing. And it's fun. As long as it's not disrespectful, it's fun, and it's in good spirit, we're good with it.
Yeah. Kind of a clarification on that. So if an opposing team's player on the road jumps into the stands, that's okay?
Okay. Jumping into the stands is, you're talking two different things, okay?
I just want to clarify that.
Somebody's personal space is an issue.
Okay.
Regardless if you're home or away. Now, if you're home and they're accepting you, but if they're pushing you away, you would never see anybody in where in Green Bay, an opposing player jump into the right. You would never see that, because they might not make it out. They might drag them in to it. So no, no players are allowed to go and get in personal space of a fan. That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify that. I got a live question on here. It says, will each team have the same officials for all their home games?
No, we change up the officials. Everything is, there's money, right? Money takes travel, takes costs, so what we've done is we've taken officials that are in close to anywhere from 3 to 4 hour radius of the arena. They are not home. They are not, some officials may be close to it, but we change the crews up. So you will never see a game where you see the same officials over and over and over and over again. You will see a different referee a few times. You will see, a referee maybe 3 or 4 times, and another referee will come in, and then you'll see them swap out positions. And that's just to make it where if a fan is coming to the game and he doesn't like the officiating crew, he can go back and realize that something's going to be a little bit different. May not be an entire new crew, but it's going to be close to something that's going to be better off.
Are the officials regionalized at all? Any chance?
The officials are, like I said, about a 4 hour
drive
from the arena. It's usually about 4 hours that they're willing. They don't get paid for their travel. They get paid for the game. So a lot of these officials are doing it because they love the sport. They've fallen in love with arena, and they want to keep it. Officiating it, watching it, being a part of it. It's one of the best. I can't tell you how many applicants I had to turn away this year, where in prior years we've been struggling. This year, due to the success of this league and the effort, the ownership and management group, Gary Compton, Jerry Kurtz, Jeff Fisher, the work that they have done to get this league to where it needs to be has just been, it's been great. And there's a ton of people out there that I didn't name that have put time into this, but there's the officials want to be a part of the success of AF1.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. Next question I had here from a fan: if refs, or I think you talked about this a little bit, but is there a training camp, an official training camp for referees?
We've been training since January. We started the interview process in November. They went through a complete interview process, applicants, and we've started training in January. We've had Zoom calls once a week, pretty much the whole entire month of February. These officials give up on the average, just on Zoom calls with myself, about 4 hours a week. And that's not even, and we're preseason. That's not including their own study time. I touched base on the fact that they have to take a test in order to officiate. And it's a video test. It's everything. So our training regiment is that's basically our training camp. And then they will go to a scrimmage at their local and watch and be able to officiate the first. And that always helps, because when you can see the ball come off the net and realize, hey, okay, I need to be here and work with it.
Yeah. Next question here. I believe you answered this one. It talked about how the NFL are maybe using replacement refs this season. That make it more difficult for you. But I think you said you have.
I felt bad of how many people I've had to turn away off I mean, there was qualifications, but we do not have a problem with AF1, and I tell you, it's the success and the stability of this league. Mm-hmm. That's what officials want, to be a part of something that's successful. Yeah. And the officials we have are by far, in my belief, the best officials in the country that we're putting on the field.
Yeah, that's great.
The fans may not agree. they may think different after a few calls, but trust me, they know what they saw.
Yeah. Next question I had here: will overtime be sudden death this year? And
okay, so here we go. So overtime this year, we have made overtime the most interesting overtime in football, in my opinion. We have taken it to where the NFL makes it where each team has to possess the ball twice, right? Mm-hmm. And then they can kick a field goal and win a game, right? In our game, each team must possess the ball twice. We still score deuces and ones. Mm-hmm. So if you kick a deuce off the beginning of the game, and you're kicking off in the beginning, and you score a deuce, and it's a tie score going in, so just for ease of math, it would be 2-0, mm-hmm. and then the offense would start, and they would score, and they would have the chance to get a deuce. It's not over until both teams possess the ball twice. Okay, so that's how the game's going to work. What we've done is on the third possession of overtime, all right, the deuce and one can be, and we are using the terminology, which I think is a great terminology for the positive of offense. We are using, it's going to be sudden victory. So it's the offense won the game. So we are going to go in, and if it's the third possession and the game is still tied, and they score a deuce or a one, or they return a fumble or something happens and they score, it's sudden victory and they win.
Okay. So sudden death after both teams have possessed the ball, basically.
Sudden victory after both teams have. Yes.
Yeah.
We are the offense or the defense won that game. Mm-hmm. So that's the mindset we want of the team is the defense didn't lose, the offense won the game. So it's a victory. It's not that, it's a victory. Yeah. That's how we want to portray AF1.
Yeah. I think we had one overtime game last year, Solana and Albany. I can't remember if there was another one, but I know there's a lot of confusion in that. So that helped.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we've really got it to where the competitive nature is going to be there. And we didn't want as electric, we didn't want to take away the electricity, because I was at that game. And I actually handed the ball to the kicker to kick off. Mm-hmm. And when I handed him that ball, his hands were as clammy as they had been. And I think he had kicked 2 or 3 deuces that game. And as soon as I handed him that ball, because he could have won the game at that stage, mm-hmm. I knew he wasn't making it. The pressure and the arena was going crazy. What we've done this year is we don't want that. As excitement as that was, we still want that excitement, because you're up 2-0. Like, you're up. So if you stop them, game's over, right? Because you're up 2-0. And if they don't score, you won the game. So it puts a lot of pressure on the kicker to make that. The fans can still be rewarded by the deuce or the one, but it doesn't it still gives the offense the ability to go out there and win a game without just being one player. And that's what we want to do. We want to involve the whole team. And now, if you think about it, we involve the special teams, we involve the offense, and we involve the defense. And then it's just the better team's going to win. You know, it's not just, hey, I got lucky, I got a deuce. Even though deuces aren't luck, they are skill by far, because I can't kick the ball that far. You know?
Yeah, that's really hard. So
Yeah. I
Well,
don't think I can kick a 30-yard field goal, let alone a 58-yard field goal, right?
yeah, I was kicking around at the Dallas Cowboys stadium a few years back, and I could barely hit a 5-10 yard field goal. So
Right.
it's
Right.
hard to do. So, next question I had, in the NBA, they have what is called a 2-minute report that discusses calls and non-calls from the last 2 minutes of close games for transparency and accountability. Could the AF1 adopt anything similar to this?
If we have any, okay, so here's what we do that's different, and I wouldn't say it's different than any other league, but one of the things that we do is I am in contact with the crew the last minute of the half in the game. So every game is watched, and in the last minute, if there is any issues that are going on that can be taken care of, we try to address it beforehand. We try to make sure that before a rule gets put in wrong or a call gets something wrong, we try. Now, we won't necessarily change a call on the field. And if we have something that's really egregious, the league will come out and say, hey, this happened. Or, you know, we want the fans to understand that we're human, mistakes are made, and what we can learn to get better from that mistake if it's made. And I'm praying, I think we're in good hands that we don't have that problem, but it's never a bad thing to let the fans know, and don't sugarcoat it. Just let them know, hey, this is what happened and what we're going to do from there.
Yeah. You talked about it. I think you said, so you're in contact with the officials the last minute and a half of the game. Is that what you said?
Last minute of each half.
Okay.
I am in contact with usually the play clock table. So if we have something we need to stop play and adjust something that's going on, or we can interject and make sure that things are going the right way.
Okay. Yeah, kind of off that.
Just a little check.
Yeah, kind of example, I guess, from last season. I don't know if that was in effect last season, but I think you had the Salina, Southwest Kansas was kind of a controversial ending there. And then I think it was in contact with the league. Maybe take fans into that a little bit and to kind of tell me like how that works, I guess, maybe.
So last year we had the Jack Mack question out of the box, in the box, right? And so for anybody who's new to AF1, our linebackers, so the two people in the defensive backfield, have restrictions of what they can do until the quarterback does, either pump fakes or throws the ball. What happened in that was it wasn't enough. There was a little controversy around that call as far as which way it was to go. And what we've done this year, because I don't want to indulge on last year, what we've done is we've made the ruling on the jack. So what caused that confusion? Because by rule, the call was right. It took a little while. By rule, the rule was right. By camera angle, it was right. What we've done this year is we've basically taken that judgment away from the official on that play. And what we did last year to show the fans, we didn't punish the referee because that referee was supposed to go work the rematch of that game. He was scheduled for it. And what the league did was the league shook things up a little bit, still paid the official for going for it. It wasn't his fault. It was just the unicorn per se. And we put other officials on that game to make sure that the coaching staff was happy and the fan base was happy that they didn't feel bias on it. But that was a unique situation as far as where we're going. And we've really tweaked the replay rule to where we're not going to have those issues.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to hear that like you all are in contact with them the last minute of the game, though. I think that's very great. Got a couple live questions here about overtime. Is overtime still 5 minutes?
There is no time limit on overtime.
No time
overtime is whoever. We will not have a tie in arena. It will not be a tie.
Good. Will the clock stop if no forward progress in the last minute as they did last year?
Yes. Forward progress will be stopped in the last minute. So the winning team if the team winning has the ball in the fourth quarter, that team needs to gain positive yards. If they get a 4-yard gain or a 9-yard gain and there's a hold and it comes back and they lose 1 yard, the clock will stop. So they need to gain positive yards in order to keep the clock going. If they don't gain positive yards, then the clock's going to stop, and you could run 4 plays and take 4 seconds and turn the ball over, if you can't. And that really gets the defense amped up to try to make sure the offense isn't just sitting back taking knees.
Yeah, I love that rule. I hate how in the NFL they just take a knee and it's over. So that's one rule I really love. So
yeah, that keeps us. You got a 6-point lead in any other game, and you can take knees and walk out of there, and you can be at your half-yard line. Not AF1. AF1, you better continue to try to score because they're coming back.
Yeah. Had some questions here pertaining to kickoffs. So I was going to kind of ask these as they're written.
Sure.
So the ball goes around the end line under the net and touched and not touched. What happens there?
So on kickoff, so what we've done this year is we've adopted a new rule for kickoffs. So kickoffs are, if it hits the rebound structure anywhere, steal, any part of the rebound structure, it is going to be live into the field of play. So if it hits the rebound structure and then hits a wall, it's going to be live. Prior years it was dead. Now it's going to be live, encouraging teams to kick it off the rebound net. If the ball misses the rebound, so if we hit the rebound structure and it goes out of bounds, the ball is going to be either where it went out of bounds or the 5-yard line. Okay. If they miss the rebound structure untouched, the ball will be placed at the 20-yard line. Or if they kick it out at the 25, it would go to the 25 if they really kick bad. If the ball is touched and goes out of bounds, it will be where it goes out of bounds. So we've tried to clean the rule up for kickoffs as far as get it off the net. You're going to be live, and the kicking team can advance it for a touchdown. In arena football, all kicks are available for anybody to advance. That's different than the outdoor game. We can catch a kick and we can run it in for a touchdown. A walk, they can, in other leagues, they can't. The ball hits off a chest and hits on the ground. The kicking team picks it up. It's dead there. Not in arena. We can still advance it. And what we've done is we've also changed the rule of scrimmage. So a field goal or a drop kick, that's all we're allowed to do in arena. Arena, there is no punting. We're not allowed to punt. So we've modified the rule on the scrimmage kick to incentivize the teams to get the ball to the rebound net. And basically what we said there was if they go for a field goal and they don't make, let's say it's short and it's rolling around and it bounces off a wall, it's still going to be live. And any team can advance that ball. So we're really putting emphasis on this to make sure, hey, 4th and 20, you ain't out of it. You're not out of it. You can kick it off the rebound net. Somebody can catch it. You can score a touchdown. It can be tipped and you think it's over because in other games, if they tip it at the line and it goes past the line of scrimmage, the kicking team can just jump on it, but it's still the receiving team's ball. Not an arena. Kicking team can pick it up and advance it. We've done a lot of tweaking with the kicking game to make this a lot simpler for the fans to know where the ball's going.
Yeah. I know a lot of times in the past, teams would kick a field goal to basically punt it without really punting it. So
so that's what we did. You can, but you're not going to get the free kick it out of bounds and be able, you want to kick it out of bounds, you're giving the team the ball at 20-yard line. That in arena is death. The 20-yard line in AF1 is a short, man, it's you've opened yourself up. So we've encouraged teams to hire. And I think what you'll see this year is because these rules have been implemented and given to the league early, ownership has spent money on kickers to make the game that much more interesting.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot of great kickers in the league this year, especially Henry in Albany. So I think it's a lot of fun to watch last year.
Yeah.
I believe you answered this question. I think I got another live question here. Will it be live ball if the kick hits the end zone wall?
Okay, so if it hits the rebound net, it's live. If it doesn't hit the rebound net and it hits any so a kickoff or a scrimmage kick, so a field goal or a drop kick, if it hits the end zone, it's dead, and the ball is going to be brought out to the 5-yard line.
Okay. I think
that's for safety. We don't want a player bending over trying to get a ball and then somebody comes in.
Yeah, that's actually another question that kind of went into another question, fan question I had. Is there any rule changes for safety this year that's been implemented?
Safety wise, let's see. What have we done for safety wise? I think we've modified. I don't know if we necessarily can say we changed the rule for safety wise. We're always implementing. The officials are, we have the same rules as, a defenseless player. You can't go after his head. We still have those rules in effect. There is no cut blocking. You know what we did? Yes, we did. And we did this last year. And this is something that I think didn't get brought out. But yeah, we banned the tush push. Last year, we took the tush push out. The tush push it's a dangerous play. Mm-hmm. It's boring for fans to watch. I don't like it in the other games. So what we did last year is, and I want to say we were probably one of the first. I know we beat the NFL on it, but we banned the tush push for the fan base. We said no way, and we didn't want our quarterback, who was supposed to be the best player on the team, getting pushed in the back and his head sideways and injuring a player. Because everybody knows if you lose your quarterback, it's tough. There's some good second string quarterbacks out there, but there's nothing like a starting quarterback. And we're the same thing. So yes, that safety wise was banning the tush push and making it so play football. Play football. Make it a fair where we're not leveraging and trying to hurt other players to score.
Yeah, your quarterback's usually your most expensive player too, so you don't want them out there getting hurt. So yeah. As I can tell you, as a Cowboys fan, I hate the tush push with the Philadelphia Eagles. I want rid of it. So I'm just like, that's so what are your hopes and goals for officiating this season for the officials?
Well, my hope and wish would be I don't have a phone call from a coach. All right, I'm pretty much going to write that out probably 1 minute into the first game. That's not going to happen. I believe that we are going to put a product out there that officiating wise, that is fair, consistent, and the fans, when we have a foul, there's no like, what was he thinking? It was, hey, that was definitely there. That's my hope. I think the hard work we've put in as a crew and with the rule book to clean the rule book up, to make the rule book, by making the rule book, maybe trying to make the rule book consistent and make it so there's no gray areas, right? The rule book it is black or white. It is this or this. And that leads into consistency with officiating. When you put a play up and you have 50% of the room saying it's this and 50% of the room saying this, that's when we have a gray area. We are as officials on the same page.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Yeah. A couple more questions came in here. If the kicking team scores a 1 but commits a penalty, holding, kick, catch, interference, the 1 is negated and the penalty is assessed from the goal line. Is that correct?
It is assessed. It will be assessed from the touchback spot. So
okay. Yeah. Next question: can running backs or wide receivers be pushed into the end zone?
Yes. Okay. Yes, that rule. So what we did was we basically banned. So the quarterback is under center. He cannot. If the quarterback is under center, he cannot be pushed directly into the back. Everybody else can. So if you hand the ball off to your fullback that's hitting the hole, somebody can get behind him and push him in, and he can score.
One of the last questions I think I had from fan questions, do the officials ever just get caught up in watching the game, kind of like in the excitement of the game, I guess is what he's asking.
You'd be amazed on how, as an official, sometimes you have no idea. Like if you were to ask anybody that wears a white hat, They don't know how touchdowns are scored. There could be the most exciting catch on the umpires and referees. They don't know what happens once that quarterback leaves once his ball leaves his hand. They have no idea. And a lot of times it's funny is the fans will be going crazy if there's a touchdown and let's say there's a foul and the referee is like, what do you got? And that's where that discussion comes in, right? Where everybody's like, well, they're talking about, no, the referee's saying, I'm not down there watching. I'm protecting the quarterback. I'm making sure nothing happens to him. And it's the same thing with the umpire. It's the same thing, maybe a running play and the back judge is watching these receivers come in and he has no idea the ball got fumbled and everybody's going the other way, So we unfortunately, we may have the best seats in town, right? We may have the best seats to the game, but sometimes we just don't see the other stuff that goes on. So we aren't in the ability, and that's what that is. That's the quality officials and the years of experience. When you start officiating, the first thing you do is you ball watch. That's the first thing you do as an official. But everything that happens foul-wise is not the ball. The ball is the least important to us why that's going on. It's all the action around it. So
yeah. What do you think? Because I'm just kind of curious. What do you think that kind of draws people to be officials? Like it's a really hard job. You get a lot of criticism. There's not a lot of you don't get a lot of praise in that job. What do you think draws people into that profession?
The love. It's the love of football, right? Football is, for a person who played, the friendships that I built and the people I've made, that was something I could never, I lost when I stopped playing, right? And I still have those friends and I still have that. When you become an official, you become back on a team and you're working with, 5 other officials on the field and play clock and, myself and we're a family, we're a unit. My football for me, I got back into it because I wanted competitiveness. I love the sport. I wanted to learn more about the sport. And then I developed friends I have friends all over the country that I never would have met if I didn't officiate. So I will tell you, if you're watching this and you love the sport, and you can start in some areas, you can start as young as 16 to start officiating. And once you get a taste of it, the yelling from a coach, okay, sometimes, you get a tendency. Other times they're just upset. They're really good guys. It's easy enough to understand that, hey, it's kind of like, and I kind of use this analogy, you get rear-ended at a red light and you're upset. And you may act a certain way to that person behind you when it was an accident and they didn't mean it. But once you get off and everything's settled and your car's okay, you can be good friends with that person because you know it wasn't. And that's kind of how coaches are. It's a traffic accident when things happen and they lose their mind because their car just got totaled, but they don't mean anything by it. It's not personal. And just football it's a very, very unique sport. To be a part of, and it's family, team, and competition.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the fans are really up close and personal with this game. Where's kind of the line for fans in the stands? Was one of the questions I got in.
Well, remember, don't touch a player, don't touch an official. So that's just general society, right? We have a zone that we don't go in. So as a fan, don't go over the line. And also as a fan, we're human, and I understand the being on this side of the wall, right? And being on the inside and you see something and you want to tell us how bad we did. It's okay. Just I think there has to be, to understand this is a sport, right? This is entertainment. There's people around you and just try to carry yourself in a manner that, hey, you can tell me I suck. I'm okay with it if things happened, but just use a level of respect to the players. They're there to entertain you. They're not there to be abused by you. And we as officials and the fan, I'll tell you one thing. I will tell you this. The players are some of the nicest people that I have ever met. And if you could get like one-on-one with another player, or you can joke around with a player, or you can joke around with me on the sideline. You can talk to me and ask me questions, and we'll engage with you, and so will the players. So I think it's just what we like to see, and I know it's not in every person the ability to do it, but we just want the fans to have respect for the players, just like the players have respect for the fans. And good humor, and booing us and booing the players, and telling us we suck, or using a BS call, chant, or whatever. It's all good fun, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Had a couple more questions come in here. Will overtime rules be the same for broadcast TV versus streaming?
Yes.
Okay.
There is no difference between broadcast or live. Everything's the same.
Okay. In overtime, is it alternating possessions until you have a winner after each team has 2 possessions? I think you kind of answered that, but just clarify.
Yeah, that's okay. It's each team needs to possess the ball. Mm-hmm. So if you kick off and you were to onside kick it and recover it, the kicking team, you still didn't give the receiving team the opportunity to possess the ball. And it's an offensive possession. If they kick off and the receiving team catches the ball and runs out into the field of play and fumbles the ball, and then the kicking team scoops up, scores a touchdown, game's over, right? Because they possess the ball. That's all they have to do. So possession is, running with it, not bouncing off your chest. And then after both teams have possessed the ball, then it is sudden victory. Anything that happens from there that can put points on the board will end the game.
Here's an interesting question, because this has happened many times. Will there be a fan ball interference and the ball is over the boards and wide receivers just trying to catch it?
So the only time fan interference comes into play is when a fan reaches into the field of play. You have the right to your seat where you are. The ball comes into your area. You can protect yourself, catch it, do whatever you want. I'm not saying there's not going to be a player coming in, so you might want to, protect yourself in such a way. It's like a foul ball coming into the stands, right? Yeah. So if you're looking at the ball, just be careful because there might be somebody coming. But fan interference is only when a fan reaches into the field of play and touches the ball. We will have fan interference. Once that ball crosses the wall, it's everybody's ball.
Yeah, I saw examples over the years too, where like a fan would grab a player like right near the stands too. So
just and do me a favor, when the ball goes and the receiver dives over the wall and he's got the ball, don't touch him as a fan. You may get thrown out of the stadium by security because we don't want it. It'd be no different than if a person fell over and you were trying to grab the ball out of his hands, right? So as a fan, if he comes over the wall and he's on the ground, if the ball's laying there and you want to pick it up, go ahead, pick it up. But if it's in his hands, don't try to do anything to take it from him, a player, just because most likely you're going to get asked to leave the arena you would ask to get the arena if it was a person that just a regular fan was on the ground. You tried yanking the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, I remember years ago, I believe a team was catching the kickoff, and they was back against the wall in the back of the end zone, and the fan just grabbed him from being able to run on in the field of play. So
yeah, you're getting quickly escorted out of the building. You probably would be banned for life from the arena. And because you can't touch somebody, and yes, that is fan interference, and we would definitely adjust for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you answering all the questions from the fans. Just kind of the last question for you I have is anything you want the fans to know about officiating the upcoming season we haven't talked about, or anything else you need to get out there?
I just think get ready. I think get ready for some amazing football. I think get ready for some competitive football. I think the reason we've modified these rules is that competition is going to be tight. Money says a lot, and these owners are spending money to put a quality product out there for the fans. Mm-hmm. And support your local teams, support the broadcast. Once all that stuff is out there, it is just get ready for it to be fast, fun, excitement. And the only thing I can say that I really think that's going to take off is it's not just football, it's a show. You know, it is going to be family, fun, high intensity, you know, hard hitting, and just a great time. You're going to be there for 2 hours and hopefully 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and it's going to go by like that. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah, such a great game. It's going to be an exciting season. Jason, I appreciate the time tonight, man.
All right. Thank you. It was a pleasure being on, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
This has been Rebound Off the Net Live. I'm Joshua Cox. We'll be back here soon with some more season previews as we kind of get closer to the season. If you missed it, go back and watch our interview with Damon Ware. We did a couple last week. We'll see you soon. Always remember, catch the rebound off the net.